Right, what do we see here? Is this a keep for Tobboo?
Um, Probably not.
Got Stone's
You gotta
Carved
put
Vow,
VAR
double
into the.
Shadow Sigil, Aura.
You gotta put VAR into the void, but you don't have any time influence. Did you like my one? Did you like my like 20-second explanation on
It was pretty
zooming in
good.
here?
It was pretty good, I gotta say. All right, there you go. Now there's your time influence with double back alley,
Much better.
delinquent, much better hand this time. Colacoma's gonna keep a hand of 2 power and exploit, a Tazboo, a Vara's Favor, a Lost Scroll, and a Defiance. First Defiance we've seen.
And of course, Darkwater Vine being an all-star. Darkwater Vine once again will be flipping 4 cards into the void, which will be very good because that's what you want to do. Is you want to just put cards in your void so you can pull them back out of your void.
All right, here comes that Arcanum Hourglass. That's a pretty good one.
If only Tobboo had a vow in hand,
True, no
then
vows in
life would be
hand.
perfect.
Got a little more awkward, but there you go. Gonna grab a Sabotage here thanks to that Azendel, and that's gonna trigger the Vines, as you mentioned. Pretty much always trigger this, don't we?
And now there's a power in the void, and there's some other good action going on there.
Here's the Exploit from Colacoma. Also drew a Vara Vengeance Seeker off the
Yep.
top there. Red 90 RL, thank you so much for the follow. We appreciate you being here today.
As I said, exploits can be very, very backbreaking, and I think you take etchings here to prevent the reanimation.
Okay. Tough decision here for Colacoma.
Oh, definitely. It's either etchings. Well, I guess it's either etchings, hourglass, or sabotage. But again, probably just the etchings, right?
So you think it's one of the cards in their hand?
No, not back out of Link. It's not
Okay,
bad.
not back. Delinquent. At least we can
Taking
agree on
bad
that.
would be bad. Well, so it really depends on. I don't exactly know what Colacoma's hand or their game plan is, so I don't know how much they care about sabotage or not.
You're saying Vara's favor the face there? You don't want to Vara's favor the Darkwater Vines? Pop the regen?
Yeah, I think that was probably a minor misplay, but also it depends on if Colacoma, is if they're just planning on playing Know Thy Enemy, then you don't really care
Sure.
about the
Yeah,
regen.
that's fair.
So,
More so that
so
whenever I ask those questions, it's more of I feel like I messed something up, so I'm like, what am I doing wrong that I think that that I would have
no,
done something differently?
I think it really just depends on exactly what Colacoma's game plan is. Now, I think knowing that Colacoma does have the Var Vengeance Seeker in hand, it might have been better to pop the regions, though you can prevent chump blocks or whatever. But
Right.
but a lot of yeah, I mean, I think popping the region was probably correct unless Colacoma has multiple Know Thy Enemies in hand. For instance, right now you get extra double blocks and stuff. So
Yep.
uh,
There's that Tazboo for Colacoma. That's a big one. And your boy, Tachiro's Ruin in hand.
yeah,
Colacoma
what a
not
card
messing
sure
around.
is.
All right.
What
Snilek's
a
going to
useless
start
card
us
Ruin
off.
is.
He's going to
Yeah,
start
so
us
no,
off, get
see,
a redraw for a vow.
so it looks like we're gonna. Oh, that's so unfortunate that this was the order of the cards because Toba would have loved to play the vow this turn to put an extra power in the void because now there's no more power in the void, I believe.
Free chump block with the vines here on the Tazboo.
Yeah, as we can see, this is because as you mentioned, the fact that there was no they didn't pop the regen right there meant that free regen, right? Free regen value.
Value. Okay, here comes Vara here. Make that a 5/5. Bobo's not going to stack a unit to that.
Oh, there was a power in the void. Never mind. I didn't realize there was no power in the void. I don't know when that got there, but it got there at some point.
All right, Seed of Mystery here.
So that means next turn we will see an Azendel. So I think you just play Trove this turn because you have the 8th power in hand already. So
Played Trove. Got a Delinquent if you want to.
yeah, you can even delinquent after that because you'll have power left over. I mean,
You could, yeah.
unless I got something wrong and unless Tobo already played power this turn, which I don't think they did. I think that was off the they didn't.
Here we go. There's Silex and there's Trove, as you mentioned. Crest off the top. And yeah, you could back out if you want.
Yeah, might as well, right? But also, it's free. You got to put a power in the void, so it gets put back into play next
Right,
turn.
it's true.
So it's absolutely just free.
Fire off the Sabotage here. You're going to see Defiance and Dechiro's Ruin.
Now I would have discarded Crest over Seat there, but you know.
There's that Defiance. No respect for the Ruin. Here comes Icaria.
Ruin gets
And
all the respect
actually,
it deserves.
get a Tazbo off the top instead of that Icaria. That's getting that
Oof.
warp value.
Yeah, so one of the interesting things a long time ago, back on turn 2, when Tobboo played Azendel, the not Azendel, when he discarded Azendel, I was wondering if Tobboo should have kept Azendel in hand rather than just discarding it, because Azendel is, obviously a powerful card to just keep playing.
But as you say that, they draw Vara off the top and then get that Asmodale back,
It's true.
so that works too.
It is true. No, that's true. It did work out very well.
But you're right; they could have held it and cast Asmodale from hand. But that is exactly a great draw for Tobboo here.
So did you just get back Grasping at Shadows, or just back it back up in the future, or
grab the Xenon
well,
Temple.
what are the other cards?
Grab Xenon Temple, send an Agent, Toll of Warfare, Grasping at Shadows, and a Severin.
I love me a Xenon Temple. I do love me a Xenon Temple.
One of the good ones. As long as Speaking Circle doesn't shut it down, it's pretty good.
Oh yeah, because Colacoma does have Speaking Circle in their deck. Oh no, Tobboo, what have you done?
In their what? Where do they have? They have Speaking Circle in their hand too, actually. Just drew it that turn, but instead gonna go with that.
Although actually, what you do is you can play your Xenon Temple, whatever, and if you steal their unit, you can reanimate it with the VAR in the future.
That is true. You can.
So you can take their Icaria right now and then play in the future. Although you'll be giving them 2 cards though, because there's the double Tobboo. Backwards Oopsot is on the battlefield.
Oh boy, here is Azendel number 2 with Azendel number 3 in hand and Xenon Temple in hand. Colacoma with Ditro's Ruin and Speaking Circle in hand. Who am I gonna hit with the 2 Wisps? Defiance and a Speaking Circle. Woo!
Can't play the Speaking Circle though yet.
Can play it this turn, but that would have been hilarious to have drawn the Speaking Circle off your opponent's deck and then prevent you from playing it on your turn. Absolutely.
You got to keep this for your Tobboo, right? You got to keep the second VAR, right?
I think
it's just too good not to keep.
Colacoma now sees another Tazbo off the top, but instead of warping that, they're going to deploy the Speaking Circle. Grab Lightning Storm. They kind of have to. Grab Lightning Storm real fast. Nightfall's also
wow. Good. That's absurd.
And Last Chance. Those are 3 pretty good hits there off of that Speaking Circle. That's a good start. That's going to clean up the board a bit. Kept the VAR on top.
Not just a bit. A lot of bit.
A lot of bit.
But you can just A-space Speaking Circle if you really want to, although you will be giving your opponent approximately 30 billion cards in hand. Because multiple things will die, which will, give them a lot of cards. But I think you kind of got to. Also, the second VAR means that you can just play VAR and get back, something. Azendel. This Azendel's not void bound, right? So they can get back this one.
That one, yeah. You're right. Both of these Azendels are the one they just played and the one that was out there are correct, are not void.
We're just gonna get back a bunch of these. What are they called again? What are the wisps called?
Helici?
They're called Helices. Helices. That's right.
I love the promo. I love the shiny Helices off
premium.
The premium Helices off of the premium Azendel.
They're glowing, shadowy.
Tobboo really showing off here.
However, we do have this Defiance. Get dunked, Icaria.
All right, here it comes.
0 cost Defiance.
Now the game's starting. We've got the Ruin down. Smuggler going to get a harsh rule out of the void here. Or out of the market, I'm sorry.
Man, I'd love to get harsh rule out of the void.
Harsh rule's pretty good here.
Yeah, I mean, their second VAR, though, will be pretty good versus the harsh rule, but... Also, Dashir's Ruins going to be pretty good versus all of these this Azendel triggers.
Do they trigger hitting a site though?
Nope. No. They don't trigger any site. So now we see our own Speaking Circle, or do we see a Xenon Temple?
think you go Speaking Circle. Not that Speaking Circle would be great for Colacoma, but just being able to block it out future turns is pretty good. Plus, Queen of Glass can win this game.
Well, Colacoma only has one circle left in their deck, so that's not a huge concern if I'm Tobboo.
True.
But it's probably Speaking Circle because you really want to just. I mean, you gotta spin the box.
Here we go. Let's do it. Second Speaking Circle of the game. Also, Colacoma.
You want to see.
Colacoma better win. I don't want to unlock the achievement of casting your Speaking Circle and losing.
You want to see Ancestral Oasis right here. That's what you want to see. You want to see Ancestral. You want to see whatever, like 3 costs gain 5 life. You want to just gain 5 life right here.
All right, Worthy Cause, Provoke the Dragons, and Detain.
If only a Worthy Cause pre-combat, but that's fine.
I mean, it doesn't. This is part of what makes Speaking Circle so good. Is it almost doesn't even matter what these hits were. Like even if they're just tiny incremental values.
I mean, you definitely want the Worthy Cause though to gain the life. That's what you want. Worthy Cause here though. That's. Ooh, I do not like that play.
Draw Colacoma 2 cards. Aramat and an Insignia.
I think that play was unfortunate. Because the Akari wasn't doing anything. It was stunned anyways. And if it died, you don't really care because you're only losing a Defiance. You're not losing that much. And on top of that, you'd rather prevent them from drawing cards, or you'd rather gain the life next turn anyways, so...
All right, Sportful coming back now. I don't know if anybody. We don't have bingo boards, unfortunately, but I think having too many units so that your your reanimated units don't get out is an achievement there. Here we go. Lots of Elises. There's another Spore Folk. Get back that Ikaria.
Not the biggest fan of these plays. I think they're just unnecessary in a lot of ways, but
it's gonna draw Colacoma more cards here. Another Ruin. Yeah, ooh, I like the Silverblade Menace. Silverblade Menace.
It's not. It does what? 2 damage right now?
Silverblade Menace does 10.
Oh shit!
Is not quite lethal.
Oh, it's very close though.
Close. I mean, and then you have the Detro's Ruin too. You can ruin and boy.
So it's gonna probably go. This is why I wanted to hold off on that Worthy Cause, especially because the VAR once again was done, so it couldn't do anything anyways, and just all sorts of awkwardness happening here.
This is super interesting. Can you hook Tobboo into dealing so much damage to themselves, and then here you go. Okay, Harsh Rule will start.
We're gonna see the second VAR though. Oh, they're gonna lose all the spells in their hand.
That's okay. If Colacoma just on. There you go. Second Skyblade Menace. If Colacoma has a power, which they do a Silex, they just win here. Unless Tobboo is able to gain life. Tobboo. Silverblade Menace does, isn't it 11 damage for each menace? That's 22 damage.
Oh, there's 2 menaces?
Yeah.
I can't see the hands, remember?
Yep. It's 2 menaces. 11 damage
do they
apiece.
Have the 8th power in hand?
They do. They have a Silex in hand. So unless Tobboo is able to gain, unless Tobboo is able to kill Colacoma or gain what, 10?
I don't think they can. Not this turn anyways.
Or empty. I guess you could. I don't think they have a way of emptying spells out of there.
No.
Void. Or
they can't. Toll of Warfare.
Sabotage. Sabotage. No, sabotage doesn't do it.
Toll of Warfare only hits 5+ cost things, right? Not 4 cost things.
Yep.
They are going to gain. They are getting a bunch of life. They could gain a bunch of life here, depending on how many spells are in the void with Katra, but it looks like not that many.
This is it. 12 and 12. 12 Silex 12. Colacoma. Wow.
You wouldn't expect Tobboo to take 12 off the Silverblade Menace.
Screenshot that board. Somebody clip that. You don't often lose when you have multiple Azendels, multiple Varas, but Colacoma, 22 damage to the face. Wow.
So Telemokos, how many So there were 12 spells in the void. How many spells do you think are in Tobo's deck normally?
Yeah, probably not much more than that. 16, something like that would be my guess. But
No, it's 4. There are only 4
four?
spells in
What?
Tobo's deck. It's 4 shadow etchings. As a matter of
Four
fact,
shadow
those are the only
etchings.
4 spells.
So they had 8
4 shadow etchings.
spells that came from drawing the top of the deck or like sabotages.
Well, yeah, sabotage, run up deck, Silex, plus the sights.
Oh my
They had a
goodness.
bunch of made up spells, but they only had 4 etchings
8 ups.
in their deck normally.
Wow, that's an impressive way to finish that game. All right, well, let's go to game 2
Yeah,
here. Whew.
because I didn't say this because we didn't have enough time, but I was thinking this that like I was like, oh, these Silver Menaces aren't going to be that good in this matchup because Tobo's deck doesn't have that many spells in their deck. But
All
nope.
right, chat. I normally wait till the end, but I have to do this now. I have news for you. Finkel and Doc28 from Eternal Titans both won their round 3 matches. That's right. It's 4-4. All
Oh
coming
my
down to
goodness.
this. This is the final match. The teams are tied 4-4. Do it.
Oh my goodness, man! I feel like I've been bamboozled by you. I thought you were going to say that they were out. You were setting up that they were out. I got
Hooked you
tricked.
there? Is that what you're saying? Well, this is it.
I was
Colacoma up a
hoodwinked.
game. The winner
I
of this
was
match wins
bamboozled.
the
I was
wins the
shadoddled.
tournament.
Well, I'm rooting for Tobo now. Gotta go all the way to the final moment. I don't know what I'd be rooting for in game 3, but I'm definitely rooting for game 2.
Well, you got lucky here, Stormblast. The first two, the matches weren't quite as close, and we didn't have as exciting games. But you've been lucky enough to get some really exciting
My
ones
games
here.
are all the games I cast are always great.
That's true. I wonder why that is.
You got great casts, you got great games. It's easy.
All 3 of these matches have been fantastic. All
Uh,
right, Seed of Mystery here for Tobo. Going to start off with a Spore Folk. And listen up, in Colacoma's hand, they have 3 more power, an Exploit, a Dichiro's Ruin, 2 of our Vengeance Seeker, and a Suffocate.
so it looks like Tobo unfortunately milling 2 of their best cards right there.
Here comes the Exploit. Tobo's hand, not
That's
great, honestly. Akaria and Shoulder are powerful, but I mean, you have nothing else to
well
do
now
for the
their
next
hand
4
is
turns, and now
now
your
their
Akaria's gone.
now their hand is very much not good, and they
Yeah.
have 2 hour and they drew another power, so things aren't looking too good for Tobo. I
I'm
would
drawing a
say, but
Vara.
Vara's not the
Okay.
worst, although
I guess the only thing
that's
for
far
Tobo's
away.
hand, the thing with Tobo's hand though, is that Colacoma's not going to kill you turn 4. So like, have some time to set these up.
And Tobo, thankfully, just was given time walk. That's good. I always like it when my opponent doesn't do anything and just passes the turn.
Yeah.
They just throw away cards for no reason. That's always good.
Sacrifice that. That actually makes the Shoal Dredger cheaper, which is going to mean that Tobo can
You
play the Shoal
fool!
Dredger here.
You fool! You
And then drawing an
fool!
Akaria off the top, and all of a sudden you got 5, 6, 8 here.
You ran into my trap. Now they're gonna let the VAR become
Activated
a
my
5/5, and
trap
then they get
card
to
here.
kill it.
Another Akaria.
A second card is a great start.
Wow. Tables
Great
have
pickup
turned.
there.
Look at that. I mean, in this
How the
matchup,
turns have tabled.
in this matchup, if you can just get to your late game hitting all your power, maybe you don't even need to curve out. Ooh, but here's Speaking Circle. Let's see what we can get here. We've got
Well,
Reshape.
reshape. Okay, that can turn a VAR into something that's not a VAR.
Bar the
Unfortunately, it's
Gates.
not. Bar the Gates is
A Boar. Boar's not
actually not terrible. Boar is a card that doesn't exist in this matchup.
All right, here we go. Reshape's gonna
But
knock that
reshape.
down to a Psionic Savant here, and then make it a 2/2.
No, I mean, unfortunately, you get to play your second Akaria, and then you get to kill Sight.
Yeah, you're gonna be
Well, you
able to
kill the
kill the
VAR, and then you
site.
kill the Sight.
Yeah, kill the
So,
site. That's nice. Well,
and
or you
Psych
could just,
Savant will kill you eventually.
I
Does
guess, yeah, you could
Colacoma
do
have
either one. You
Suffocate
could
in
also
hand?
just kill the site with the Akaria, but it's probably better to kill the Akara. Colacoma has Know Thy Enemy, Defiance, and Treasure Trove.
So so if they can draw their second Suffocate though, I think they have Suffocate, right? Did they already play one or something?
They have Defiance. Know Thy Enemy, Defiance, and Treasure
Defiance. Yeah,
Trove.
so
That. Got the
don't
site.
want to let the site live. Not that the site's doing that
Oh,
much at
now
this
you
moment,
got
but
lethal. Presenting lethal, at least.
things were not looking good for Tobo, but then Colacoma let them sacrifice their unit that wasn't doing anything.
That
Ooh,
did
but
help.
reshape off the top
Ooh, and a
again.
3-1 flyer. Okay.
That's a lot less good than a 5/5 deadly flyer that makes your opponent discard their stuff.
Well, things not looking great still, unfortunately. There's a lot of damage
I
coming
think
across.
I think you were supposed to sabotage pre-combat.
Yeah, maybe. Here comes the Defiance.
See, the thing is though, the other thing is that if you sabotage pre-combat, you get your Psychic Savant to draw an extra card. It becomes a 4/4.
Ooh, good point. All right, know thy enemy. Not going to kill anything, but it's going to get a Vara and a Smuggler here.
Smuggler presumably going to get Harsh Rule.
Yep, going to grab Harsh Rule for Colacoma. Double Vara
So
in
do you
hand.
sacrifice?
I mean, the worst part of this match, honestly, has been Tobo's mismatched Varas. Come on, what are you doing here, Tobo? You're killing me with this.
Spend the Shift Stone. You're here in an expedition match, not expedition, a exhibition.
You're here to showcase your team, and you're bringing mismatched Varas.
Exhibition.
Come on, Doc,
So
get
if
your
you're
team in
Tobo,
order.
you could play VAR this turn, but you could also go for the sabotage, because you know that Colacoma's marquee probably got was Harsh Rule, or is either Harsh Rule or Diesel's office. But this is gonna be fine too, because backup VAR will be very good, but
Here
not
we
attack
go.
me first, Colacoma.
Now
Colacoma, you should attack first. Could have gone to 8, Colacoma. 8's a
all
big
right.
deal.
Silverblade Menace, the draw. Unfortunately, only one spell in hand this in the void this time, so not quite as good as last time.
As I said, it turns out that Tobo's deck does not actually have that many spells in their deck. It was just a fluke last game that there was like 20.
Yep, and that's gonna do it. Okay, Tobo's gonna tie it
Yep.
up. Couldn't have scripted
After
it
that,
better myself. Don't tell anybody that I
after
told
that,
the players to script this perfectly this way.
after that, like first 4 turns of the game, if you'd asked me on turn 4 who was gonna win, I would have
Yep.
been like, "Oh, Colacoma easily wins."
Right.
And then Tobo just had some impressive draws and was able to sequence some cards together, and just it worked really. It just all flowed together.
Well, you know what I'm worried about here from Colacoma's side is that Tobo really had game 1, too, but then Colacoma very expertly set up, be able to kind of hit them out of nowhere, which credit to Colacoma for setting that play up, but it was a tight game at that point. It was something
So
that Tobo was in to win.
you know who's on the if
Colacoma.
Tobo's on the Colacoma's on the play here?
Yeah.
Okay, well, does Colacoma have exploit in hand?
They do not. They have Lost Scroll and Tobboo.
Okay. Ooh, wow. Okay, this game is Tobo's game at this point, just on the opening hands, because they have Felvout into Hourglass. Their Soul Dredger milled a Vara. They
Shoulder
have
Milling
backload to hit
Vara.
before discard.
Shoulder Milling Vara is brutal.
Um,
And they have etchings
God, I
to
got
go
distracted.
get.
I had something to say, but I totally forgot what I was gonna say, just because the hands are just so exciting.
Yeah, they're in really good shape. Know thy enemy and Ikaria off the top for Colacoma, but unfortunately those are a little less good here. And they're still good, but then another Tazboo. So 2 Tazboo, Know thy enemy, and an Ikaria Colacoma.
Yeah, no, the enemy not that great here. So here's something interesting that I think you do. I think you play 1 Shadow Etchings, then you play Back Alley Delinquent to discard a power, and then you can play another power, and the next one you get a free ramp effect.
Okay.
But I could be wrong there. I could be suffering from too cute syndrome, where fancy play syndrome, where you may try to make fancy plays and it doesn't work out.
Yep.
I mean, the other thing you do is just like go for grasping at shadows for VAR, but your void isn't that stocked up yet though.
Not. Now you could discard
You
one of
get
the
a discard like
Katras or
Shoal
Shoal
Dredger
Dredger. Yeah, either one
or
of
Shoal
those.
Dredger. You discard a Shoal Dredger, then you can like get the grasping at
Shadow.
shadows
Yeah, Shadow Etchings,
and
get Grasping of Shadows.
just
Yeah, I like that.
make 2 big units. Not the worst play ever. If only there was like an Aznel the Void. Can you imagine next turn? So Tobo goes for this grasping of shadows, and then the next turn they top deck another Shoal Dredger, just discards an Azendel. So what did Tobo see there? What exactly did Tobo see?
Tobu saw Ikaria, 2 Tazboos, and a Know Thy Enemy. Then Dichiro's Ruin was the draw on the turn.
Well, no, Tobo only saw no enemy then.
Correct.
Yeah, so I think I
Oh,
think
Mill the
by the way,
Azendel, you called that one.
so now they're gonna play Shadow Etchings, get Grasping at Shadows, and the real reason, by the way, the reason Colacoma lost that previous game was Deshiro's Ruin. Don't play it, people. Don't play Deshiro's Ruin. Friends, don't let friends play Deshiro's Ruin. That's all I can say.
Right. Well, short on power. Tobo doesn't have any more power, but can get the Shadow Etchings to get that 1 power. Toss any of these cards off to
100%.
get the Grasp of Shadows, and then next turn's looking really good with Vara
Yep.
and Azendel.
I mean, yeah. Actually, I think the play you actually make. I'm gonna make a a better line of play. I think you play etchings for I don't know, like send an agent or something, or toll warfare or whatever, or anything else that's not grasping at shadows. So the turn after you can then go for grasping at shadows with that way they can't steal it. Now they can take the second etchings obviously, but it meant that they couldn't take the grasping itself because that's how you win is you'd want to top deck another merchant or another etchings
So if
afterwards
Kolokoma
in the
draws
future.
Exploit or something here, you're protecting it. Okay.
Yeah. Now they'd still need to take the second etching, so it's like it's not the best thing ever, but you at least get to keep the grasping shadow safe. Now the downside of that would be is that you can't then like say back up like a Xenon Temple as a backup plan. But I don't know. It's a tricky deck, tricky spot.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Okay,
But
Kolokoma looking at a hand of Ikaria, Tazboo, Ruin, and Lost Scroll, and a Silex. So can deploy anything they want in their hand. What's unfortunate is they don't really have anything. Tobo's deck is just going over the top of what Colocoma's doing, and Colacoma doesn't really have a way to stop that other than like the harsh rule in the market, but not in any frame to get that at this point. I don't know what they do to stop what Tobo's doing here. Tough spot to be in for sure.
I think I mean, you know, the rough part is imagine that Jashiro's Ruin was a card that did something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to
Literal
drag
any
people
other
too much,
cards?
but I want to drag Jashiro's Ruin because I think that card is just way too overplayed. Like everyone plays this card, and it just baffles me when I see it on ladder all the time. I'm just like, what are you guys doing? The card doesn't do anything. Oh my goodness.
Here comes the Tazboo, but Tobo's got what they needed set up here. They're gonna play their
Yeah, no, this
power
is
from the void. I expect to see this Grasp of Shadows here.
yeah. I think that this game is pretty in hand for Tobo at this moment. Although, yeah, as we've seen, there have been swings in the past. All it would take is
As the
you know,
Joker says, here we go. Here comes the Vara into the Azendel, off the Grasping of Shadows, getting back a Merchant, getting back a Shoal Dredger. We go to the market.
all we really take though in some respects is if Colacoma played Know Thy Enemy and then got Merchant off of Know Thy Enemy to get Harsh Rule, that would put them back in the game.
Well, they do have Know Thy Enemy in hand, so send an agent for Tobo. They do have Know Thy Enemy. They have a Tazboo on top.
Because if you play Know Thy Enemy here, you get to take out 4 units, so your opponent has a very few units, and then you get to. I think this plays probably a lot safer because it means that Tobo still has a great board state, but they don't have the units to back it up the Azendel, which means that they can't get an overwhelming card advantage. So this
Right.
plays safer, but Kokoma's not out of it yet because again, as you said, Harshal, they have the Know the Enemy, they have the Harshal. Know the Enemy cleans up the board really easily. All these small units they get swept up by Know the Enemy, just leaving all the big stuff. And you can and Kolokoma is contesting the big things because they have their other big units. So really, what it comes down to is that Azendel being destroyed means that Tobo can't gain this overwhelming advantage that they wanted to gain. Now they're obviously not in a bad shape, but they can't win the game right here.
Yep, it's a good point. It's a close one. It was a good play taking out. So what happened there was the Ikaria on the summon ability took out the Azendel. That Azendel is now void bound. Tobo's going to go Shadow Etchings, going to go to the market. Their options are Delinquent, Katra, Toll of Warfare, Xenon Temple, and Severin. Severin, that 7
Um,
cost Severin. Thanks to the the nerf there. Gonna grab the Xenon Temple here.
yeah. So notably, just to for funsies for you all at home, that Severin in the market was originally a Krull, but obviously you can't have two people playing Krull in their deck.
Go.
So Tobo had to make a last minute substitution to change out what they actually were going to do, and they switched it to a Severin, which because Crow obviously would have been great in this deck, but can't play Crow, can't play it because you're already playing Crow in a different deck.
That's some of what makes the tournament interesting. So, yep, that you're right that was a Krull, but switching that out. So Total Warfare, what they drew there.
That's
With a
kind of
treasure
an
trove.
odd. That's kind of an odd set of plays to make, where you didn't play the Toll that turn because Tobo could have, right? They got like the Senate Agent that turn as well, so they could have just played Toll that turn. I think if you're gonna get Toll, you definitely play in the same turn you're gonna get it. So that, especially because they have 3 power left over,
Okay.
there's a little bit of a wackiness there. But what they are setting up for is they're setting up for Toll plus being able to send an agent that Ikaria, where the Ikaria doesn't discard them any cards, which is nice. What exactly does Toll do, by the way? What's the specific text?
That says the enemy player discards each card with cost 6 or more from their hand and market. Then each card in their void gets void bound.
That's a card Colacoma would love to have.
Yeah, right. Would be, but it 6 or more doesn't hit anything right now in Colacoma's hand. And their market.
Does it anything in the market?
Just Diesel's office, but that's super relevant here.
Do they have any void recursion? They do have. Well, okay, they technically have any card they could want because they do have Speaking Circle, which does give the void recursion, kind of.
Kind of, yeah.
We saw Last Chance last game, 2 games ago. Remember? We saw Last Chance. With the power of a Speaking Circle, anything is viable. Going to send an agent the Tazboob end of turn. The backwards oopsot has been send an agented. So you can play your Xenon Temple and Toll, or Xenon Temple and Katra this turn. So presumably you're going to be playing your 5 and your 4, or I guess 2 4s. That's also possible as well. I can't imagine you go for Toll of Warfare and then don't play it, right?
I mean, maybe they just wanted to go to the market to just get something as like a backup because they weren't going to play anything else.
I kind of like going for the Xenon Temple into Toll this turn in some ways, because you give them cards in hand to take the cards out of their hand, maybe? I don't know, it's interesting. It's certainly interesting.
Comes the Xenon Temple. That's going to get killer to kill the Tazboo here.
For them drawing cards, I like
they
it.
drew a Silex. Lots of damage. This is actually going to put Colacoma down to 6, which would be lethal next turn.
Yeah.
You know, your favorite card off the top. Jitro's Ruin off the top here for Colacoma.
Oh my goodness. Get out of here.
I knew that would get
you. Get out
you.
of here, Telemocos.
I knew that would get you. Silex, I'm not lying. It really was.
I don't believe you. Just like, I mean, you can see right, by the way, you can see right here. This is why Jashira's Ruin's not the greatest card ever. Because, Harshu's going to take all the cards in Tobo's hand away. Whee!
You don't want any blanks in your deck when you're drawing? When you're top decking?
Well, no, what I mean is that because Harshu will take the Ikaria down, which will then wipe the hand away.
Right. Yep. That'll clear everything out. So if there's any hope for Colacoma here, it's that Tobo is empty-handed. There's 2 ruins. All right, Colacoma. As long as Tobo doesn't draw anything, Colacoma can start rebuilding. But the problem is, he's got 10 power and a lot on the top of the deck.
The reason to hold that Gatekeeper Vine, Dark Water Vine, is that you have other Varas in the deck, and if you draw a Vara, you'd love to have the Dark Water Vine after the fact to then play to get extra reanimation off. Because if you just play it now, this is going to be very brutal because
the Diesel's office that I said didn't matter because it wasn't going to get played this game. Turns out, here we go. That lifesteal is going to matter. Going to put Go back up to 14. Ooh, here's Azendel. Said we can't draw things like this off the top. Colacoma is going to have to answer this now.
But they have an answer in play, unfortunately.
Dude, they also have Silverblade Menace from last turn with 10 spells.
Oof.
And they pull it off again. Colacoma can deal 10 to the face. Know thy enemy. Oh my
But yeah,
goodness.
that does it.
Oh my
That's the
goodness, that
game.
does it.
Colacoma has won.
What a comeback. Oh my goodness, Colacoma has done it.
What a
Wow.
comeback.
Oh
Colacoma
my
sneaking
goodness.
it past there. Cards that I didn't think were going to be good enough. Also, notably, Silverblade Menace with lifesteal with the office gains double the life because it has lifesteal. So it dealt 10, gained 10, and then it gained another 10 off the lifesteal. But I know it's irrelevant because the game was already over, but wow. Sneaking it through there.
Unbelievable. Oh my gosh, let's bring that back to the booth. Congratulations, Colacoma. That was an incredible match. I mean, condolences, Tobboo. That was a heck of an effort, and that was amazing to watch there. I'm so glad we got to see those last three matches were just unbelievable and really, really high quality there. So congratulations to the Misplay for their big win, 5-4, super close over Eternal Titan.